Hey everyone, and welcome to another edition of Preview and Recap. For today's episode, I'm going to review and watch the first episode of Season 6 of Scandal. Scandal is one of those shows I wish I didn't like, but I do. All 5 seasons, it has the same gimmicks, but they work. You'd just be watching random commercials of something else and be all these like Scandal hashtag, like who shot Fitz. And honestly, any show that has some sort of a mystery element to it draws me in pretty well. Okay, so it's been the longest amount of gap of time between now and the last season. Now, I know a little bit about it before going into it. I know that the election results already happened according to TV Guide. I shouldn't have looked at that. And I also know that I don't think Mellie won. I already have a feeling that didn't happen. I feel, unfortunately, that Scandal is copying real life because Hillary didn't win, therefore Mellie can't win. So I really have no idea what they're actually going to do. My guess is that they're going to come in like right after the election, so they're like in the transition of power. That could even be the whole season, honestly, because they obviously want to keep Fitz in the White House as long as they can. Last season was really much a blah, so I'm hoping that this season, well, honestly, I hope they just end the show. But if the show is going to continue, at least give me something. I don't really know what that is. I guess kind of a mystery element, like keep me invested, make it worth coming in each week. Oh, and please, for the love of God, don't put Fitz and Olivia back together again. You broke them up already. Like every season you kind of play around with that. We're done. All right? I'm done. I'm sure other people are done. Like that's such a crappy, I'm done. You know what? I want to see OPA back together again. I want Abby back in OPA. I know she's like chief of staff or whatever, but I want her back in OPA. That's where she belongs. I thought that was going to be like a 2-episode gimmick at the beginning of season 4, and it's turned into a 2-season thing. We already have enough crap going on with the real election and the real presidency that we don't need any more fictionalized political stuff. I think everybody's done with that. Oh, and I really want the Rowan thing to be a lot more defined. That was so, I thought, half-assed last season. Like, oh, he's so bad, but now he's kind of okay, and we're all okay with him. I didn't like that. Just either make him the real bad guy or don't. Don't complicate it. Olivia almost shot him, and then she sleeps over at the house and has dinner with him. It's confusing. Okay, time to watch Scandal.
What if she's not there? Or what if she is there, but she doesn't want to talk? He could have gotten to her. She could have changed her mind.
Okay, I knew that was coming because of the commercial. But who was in the house?
California Secretary of State, and he says we are up in San Benito County by over 2,000 votes.
How would a Republican win California?
There has been voter tampering in San Benito.
Oh my God.
So, Elaine.
We're moments away from Governor, soon-to-be President Frankie Vargas, speaking live from Fairmount Park in his hometown of Philadelphia. These will be his first words after his historic win. And, all right, hold on. He's taking the stage.
I bet he gets shot.
Your next president, Francisco Vargas.
I bet he gets shot. No? Okay, maybe not.
Vice President Beene. It's like having a vampire heartbeat away from the oval bloodsucker.
It would make total sense if Vargas gets shot.
What's going on?
What? Oh my God!
Folks, this is just God. Frankie Vargas has been shot.
I called it!
Elect has been shot.
Oh, I so called it!
This time.
Cyrus killed him. If Cyrus didn't kill him, I would be shocked. There's gotta be a twist. This show's too predictable right now.
The reality is, Mr. President, the next president of the United States is who you say it is.
Good research. Cyrus isn't in this. It would be shocking if Cyrus showed up dead at the end of this.
And I think Cyrus may have had something to do with it.
Of course he did.
What if Mellie did?
Still, these people.
I'm starting to think it's not Cyrus because Cyrus would have just killed him after the Electoral College. But why would it have been Mellie if she actually thought she was going to win the election? I guess she could have made a phone call after as a sheriff, but I don't think so.
Good luck with that. We'll be here next week listening to all this crazy.
Well, what's your suggestion, Charlie?
I'm just saying.
How was Charlie part of
We gotta
OPA?
get a move on.
I could see them spending the entire season on figuring out who shot Vargas. Oh, Cyrus could just be making everything up.
Attempts of his surgical team, Governor Vargas' injuries were too severe, and he died this morning at St. Anne's Hospital.
There's another message.
Before I hacked the server, someone else went in and manually deleted a message off the tip line.
What does it say?
We don't know yet.
I'm trying to recover. Frankie Vargas passed.
It's gonna be frickin' Cyrus. Oh my god. This show is all over the place. Cyrus did it. He was pretending to be in shock.
Shine a light forward for all of us.
Charlie?
What?
Yes.
What?
Yes.
Really?
What is happening right now?
Wow, okay, that was the first episode of Scandal. There was a lot that happened. Let me just try to naturally go through what I thought. The fact that I was able to predict the first 10 minutes kind of bugged me because they really did a good job, I think, of letting you know that Vargas was going to get shot. Like, I'm sitting there and I'm like, no, I think he's going to get shot, I think he's going to get shot. He got shot. But I still like the fact that he got shot. I like the fact they did that because, I mean, how are they going to even deal with Vargas? They exploited a part of the Constitution I've never actually considered. I personally love politics and I like getting into all this stuff, so I never really once thought about what happens to the president-elect after the popular vote and before the Electoral College. I've never thought about that before. So I knew going into this episode that the VP would take over, but I didn't realize that before the Electoral College vote, that wasn't the case. So the fact that the show did that research and was able to come up with this idea for pretty much their season, I thought was amazing to actually go through it like that. And another thing I really loved about this episode was that the whole time I'm wondering, like, oh, what's going on? Like, is it Cyrus? Is it Mellie? Like, part of me still thinks it's Mellie. I'm still kind of on that. Technically, Mellie could have hired that chick who blew up in the cabin to call and say it was Cyrus, so Mellie wouldn't have gotten caught. And Cyrus had little to nothing to do with this in this episode. As for the shock, I don't know. That's good. It's good that I don't know. The only thing that's interesting, and I said this at the beginning, was I want them to bring OPA back to what it was, and oh my gosh, I mean, Marcus is now press secretary, so they even went further out, and Charlie is now OPA. What happened? They have to have some sort of a flashback episode. I know some shows do this where like 8 episodes in they'll be like, how did everything happen? They gotta do that. They never really explained how Abby went to go work for the White House. They never show a flashback of that interview or anything. So I could see them never touching any of this stuff. But like, I mean, there were just little things they were throwing at you, like, oh, like Jake's there. Oh, and his wife's drunk. Like, what's going on there? But left off with Olivia and Jake like having all this tension, and then in the next episode there's like almost no interaction, if there was even at all, between Olivia and Jake. So there has to be some sort of a flashback episode. I really like the fact it had me guessing the whole time. I really liked that. And I still don't know. Like, if I had to predict right now, I think Mellie, I want to say Mellie did it. Because everybody thinks it's Cyrus. But Mellie could have taken it out. She's always been sort of evil in the back, you know? I mean, it could have been her. It could have been somebody else completely. I understand Fitz's reason for choosing Cyrus over Mellie, but I don't know. I just kind of wanted Mellie to have it. I really like this idea of having the rest of the season be about the Electoral College. Like, I think that's amazing. Like, I don't think that's ever been done. I have never seen it done in the history of my watching television or me watching films. I'm sure there's a film out there somewhere that has to do with strictly Electoral College tampering of some kind, but not to this extent. So I applaud the show for just talking about this scenario. I think that's an amazing thing. Next week I'm going to actually do a preview and recap on How to Get Away with Murder. You guys can really help me out though. If there's either show you would prefer me to do, I'll just stick to that one. If not, I'll probably just rotate back and forth until the season's end. I will admit it's a lot of work to do 2 episodes like in a week, but I can try if that's what people really want. It all depends on you. It really does. And again, if you guys have any ideas for me to do other than these shows or other movies or whatever, just leave a comment. Let me know what you guys want me to preview and recap for you. Thank you very much for tuning in, and take care.